Well, hello, model car fans. Welcome to the Muscle Car Modeler. My name is Ral, and this week we're going to look into this kit, do a bit of a review and deep dive into it, and look at the components and everything, and some of the unique features about this kit, and why I was keeping my eye open for it. I did kind of want it. It's kind of unusual. Doesn't really, you know, it kind of falls out of my interests, but at the same time, it's in my interest because of what it is. Now, for those wondering, this is the 20th anniversary Trans Am for 1989. That was the 20th anniversary. First year of the Trans Am was 69. Of course, the last year was 2002. So this being the 20th anniversary, pretty rare car, but it's also unique in another aspect, and many of you may not know it. This is the only car that's a Trans Am from Pontiac that did not have a V8 in it. This had the V6 in it, and it's known as the Turbo Trans Am because it has the turbocharged V6 engine in it. Now, this kit, from what I understand and from what I know, has never been reissued. It was issued once in 1989 by Monogram, and comparing it to the Buick GNX of its time, which has been reissued. It's got the wires and flexible hoses in it and some nice details in it, so I suspect it's going to build pretty much the same. Looks like it on the inside of the box. But some of the things that make this thing unique, the car itself is, I mentioned the 3.8 liter Buick V6 with the turbocharge. Yeah, that Buick. And it's kind of weird to think about that because, the Grand National was done in 1987. I'm sure, Buick probably threw a fit. They didn't want their motor in the Pontiac, but Pontiac did. But it's not a direct swap right into it. They did tweak the motor a little bit. I can get into that or not. But the box mentions that it was 250 horsepower. Some of the ratings say 245. It really depends on what you're reading. I remembered a good chunk of this, but I did do some refresh reading because the 89 Corvette was rated at 245 horsepower. And this is rated at 250. So some literature, it's knocked down to 245 to make sure it matches. Now, they didn't want it to be more powerful than the Corvette, even though it was faster than the Corvette. This was the fastest car 0 to 60 according to all the reviews in 1989. This turbocharged car, automatic only, could do 0 to 60 in 4.6 seconds. The Corvette can do it in 5.4. And, the Buicks were very fast. They were the fastest at their time, the GN and GNXs for 87. And great cars, but the GNX was rare, and that 547 were built. This car, the 20th anniversary Trans Am, only 1,500 were built. And I didn't know much about this car. It's the pace car for 1989 also. So every one of these was white, had tan interior, and it came with pace car decals to put on the doors. Unfortunately, they didn't provide pace car decals, but that's how I first found out about it in the V6. It was in my pace car book, one of the first times I ran into it. So I didn't understand this car that much back then, but as soon as I found out about it, I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool. And another thing about it, this was expensive. Your GTA, which is the V8 version that I liked, this was $9,000 more than that car. This thing had a $29,000 to $31,000 sticker. One of the main reasons it would be higher is T-tops were an option, leather interior was an option. But all of them were white and brown. They had Turbo Trans Am badges on the fenders, the 20th anniversary badge front and back and on the pillars. There was a pace car wing right here, which I think that's included in the decal sheet, but we'll take a closer look here in a second. Another thing that's unique with this particular car, comparing it to the Buicks, this did not have a speed limiter on it. The Buick Grand Nationals were limited to 124 miles an hour. This car was not. They said it can do 150. Motor Trend actually clocked it to 162 miles an hour. I've heard two excuses for that. One was the Buick Grand Nationals, not the GNX, because the GNX had the 16-inch wheels and good tires, but the Grand National. So I'm not sure if the GNX was speed limited, but the tires weren't rated at those speeds, so that's why they limited it to 124. The other reason I heard about it was the Grand National suspension wasn't as fine as this one was, and they said they couldn't handle those speeds as well, because it had regular A-arms. And then the rear suspension were it hooked up, but this one, it had a completely different rear suspension and struts in the front and everything, and it was capable of higher speeds. So supposedly that's why they left that alone. Pontiac left it alone. But the fact that Buick, got the motor, or they got the motor pretty much from Buick, but it's not a complete right from the Grand National. It's using the cylinder heads off the 3800, which came out in '88. So a little bit tighter, smaller cylinder head, but the valves are bigger, the exhaust flow was higher, combustion chamber was a little bit better. So I read that those 3800 heads were much better compared to the Buick Grand National ones, but not by much. But they were smaller and more compact, and they fit in these shock towers better. That's what I read about that. That was one of the more recent facts that I didn't really know too much about. The turbo wasn't right out of the GNX either. It was more of the regular Grand National one with steel instead of ceramic impeller. So if you really know about that stuff. But the motor, mostly the same, but not exactly the same as the GN. But quite interesting. So when it comes to the kit, I wanted one of these, but only being issued the one time. And it wasn't hot on my list, and they just don't turn up very often. Even though Monogram did issue a whole bunch of these back then, but never reissued it in this configuration. So I'll get the parts out here and some of the stuff. Here's the, unique to, the high performance series. There's the spark plug wire and the heater hoses that you use. I used them on the Buick. Here's the chrome tree, which has the 16-inch wire mesh wheels. A lot like the Grand Nationals, but not exactly the same. They could very well be. The rest of the stuff, the 200 R4 tranny, the turbo and the tube and the intake and all that stuff. I mean, it's almost right out of there. Chrome on mine isn't all that great, but it's nice. Smoked glass. Kind of cool. I don't know if I'm going to worry about, trying to find... I kind of like to get a clear windshield, but tinted rear window. But I may just leave it alone because the interior is black and tan, and you may not notice as much. And there's that tail light. That's pretty cool. No real damage on any of this, which is cool. Mine wasn't damage free. Here's the Goodyear Gatorback VR tires, 16s. I put them in this bag because as soon as I opened this, because this was a sealed kit, but did have a little bit of damage on the body, but we'll get to that. Typical instructions. Here's those decals with the turbo gold and white, Trans Am, Pontiac, and those badges, which was how the car came. But the pace car stuff is not here. But I don't know if I'll put the pace car badges on it, because I do like doing pace cars. So when it comes to the kit itself, we'll get this out. Here's the body. Now it does have the regular Trans Am badge here and the GTA badge right there, which that needs to be sanded off, and that needs to be sanded off for this version, but it's this version only. You can kind of see some of the, it's like, that looks like it's the plastic from the bag, and then I got a little bit of tire melt right there, and a little bit on this quarter panel. Not too terribly bad. That's repairable, and but when you buy a sealed kit, that's part of the gamble. And unfortunately, my body got it just a little bit right there. I don't think there's anything on my body I have to worry about. It's kind of funny. It portrays kind of a stick, but it should be an automatic. But I'm not really sure about the boot there. Matter of fact, I have to look at the steering wheel. So there's the wheel backs. Here's the steering wheel. Yeah, that's definitely not the right steering wheel. This car would have a square steering wheel with a bunch of buttons in it for the stereo. It was kind of odd, but unique to it. The ground effects here for the sides. Headrest for the seats, armrests, shocks, compressor, pulleys, the steering wheel. The intercooler for the turbo. The injectors for the V6. So a lot of these are kind of like from the Grand National kit. But they may be tweaked a little bit for this version. But there's the interior tub and everything. And there's the single exhaust system with muffler, but the dual outlets, which the Grand Nationals did too. Head pipes, these pipes, the water pump and timing cover, the manifolds, drive shaft. Here's that long torque arm that runs right next to the drive shaft, which was F body only. Corvette, I think, had something similar, but not exactly the same. The rear end with all of its suspension. No rear springs, though. It's kind of, got that. nice if it had actual springs. The mirrors, whoops, almost knocked that one off. Lower control arms, and here's the V6 with the automatic tranny, the 200R4, which it's got the accumulator on the side and everything to really make it stand out. So it's pretty nice 200R4. There's the automatic shifter, the T-handle, steering column with a nice turn signal lever on it. Let's see, what else is on there? Here's the seat. It's funny, I got one seat over here. The other one I think was over here and fell off, which is in the back here somewhere. Then here's your typical front end stuff. There's the, the front end, the GTA front end. Here's the rear bumper and ground effects, and then that hood with the vents and everything, just the GTA and the rear wing. So nothing really unique there. Here's the V6 heads, and you can kind of see where the trees have been tweaked just a little bit for this stuff. It looks like a nice, easy build. Here's one of the seat backs. Here's the other seat back, but it's got a weird headrest. So, kind of neat. Not sure this is completely accurate for this particular version. Some of these parts don't appear to be accurate, like they're just from the earlier version without really modifying it, which Monogram, I wouldn't be surprised. Here's the chassis. Where's the date? Yeah, 1982 right there. So, most of this is from the original 82 episode. Here's the dash. Interesting configuration. I don't think that dash is accurate, but I'll have to look closer again. But that doesn't quite look right. And it's funny. Yeah, there's the stick pedal. So, unless that's supposed to be parking brake. Kind of doubt that, though. I wouldn't be surprised if the parking brake is molded into the tub. Let's take a quick look here. Well, it's not. But, yeah, fun stuff. But some of these I don't expect to be fully accurate, considering, they probably left some of this stuff alone from earlier versions of this, because there was 82 and 85, and then they went into the 91s, which I like those body styles as well. But I wasn't really into collecting them. But this one being the one and only V6 version, I always thought that was kind of cool. And here's the instruction sheet here. We really didn't go over this, but there probably won't be any big surprises in here. Your typical stuff. It does look a lot like the Grand National as far as putting the motor together and building it. So very familiar on all of that stuff. I'll have to compare the interior stuff to see how accurate it is, but may not want to, because sometimes I find too many inaccuracies and I kind of don't want to build it. But and then other times I decide to tell myself, just build it, have a good time, enjoy it. Here's where it tells you to put all the decals and stuff. I don't think it says anything about sanding some of the other badges off. But pretty cool stuff. So, for me, this will be a fun one to do and a quick one to do without really, stressing myself out too much on some of the details. But should go together really, really well and really nicely. Let's get some of the stuff back in the bags. I don't know why I do this sometimes. Once I open the bag, sometimes I don't put it back in, but other times I do. That should have went in between. That's kind of how it was. And then the body off to the side here, next to the interior tub. So, I don't know when this is going to end up on my desk to get built, but when I get the itch to do one of these, since I don't have any of this body style, I don't have hardly any Trans Ams actually built. Pretty much just all the way to like 72, I think I got. But no, I got the 73. But nothing in the later ones as far as build goes. I got a few in my stash, but I have to think about which ones I have. But that was a fun look at this one and kind of tell you a little bit about the actual car and show you the kit contents and everything. And maybe someday this one will get reissued. I don't know. Kind of a forgotten car. So whether they do or not is a whole nother story. But that's just kind of what's fun to explore this and look into it and share it with you guys. Some of you may not even know anything about this particular version of it. But anyways, you guys, thank you for tuning in, subscribing, and all your comments and everything. I really do appreciate it. And you have a wonderful weekend, and I'll see you next time.